What's up, motorheads, and welcome back to Gearbox Pizza. So it's it's been a while. It's been quite some time actually since we even brought up the Cybertruck, and well, it's probably for good reason. And I don't know about you, but my feelings towards this thing they've sort of been in a constant state of change since production started. And as it turns out, well, Tesla apparently has been having some issues moving this metal. So I was about to say that it wasn't all that long ago since we first saw the Cybertruck unveiling, but what am I talking about? It's been like forever, years behind schedule, but it's here now. But remember when Tesla literally almost shocked the world when this thing rolled onto the stage? Look, regardless of your feelings on this, it's undeniably different, like nothing, absolutely nothing we've seen before. The crowd was stunned, but what followed was a bit of insanity. After the dust settled, the public spoke, and they spoke with their wallets. As of December 2023, Tesla had received over 2 million reservations at $100 a pop to chisel your place in line to own one of these things. And I'll admit, for a bit, I was a little pissed at myself for, having missed out. Look, I personally never put a deposit down, but there were points where I really wish I would have jumped on this chance the minute it was announced. Alright, so that's amazing, right? Tesla has an absolutely crazy long line of people ready to drop 100 grand or so for one of these. But as it turns out, very few people are actually pulling the trigger. So depending on the numbers you look at, Tesla sold somewhere between 30 and 50,000 of these things. And doing a little bit of math tells us that the take rate, it's like under 2%, which is pretty lousy. And just the other day, I saw a news story that Tesla was actually buffing the Foundation Series badges off Cybertrucks in order to sell them as regular Cybertrucks. And then earlier this month, Tesla had reportedly given a bunch of employees working on the Cybertruck production line in Texas, a whole bunch of days off. And the Cybertruck is now also available as a lease, and that's something I think Tesla would have held off doing as long as possible. And there's already been a price cut on these leases. When the program first became available, the base all-wheel drive Cybertruck was available for $999 a month after $7,500 down with 10,000 miles a year, and that's since been reduced to $899 a month. There have also been many Cybertrucks in inventory that are available for immediate delivery. Yeah, and that also includes Foundation Series versions. And if you don't remember what the Foundation Series was, Tesla added like 20 grand to the price and bundled a bunch of features and accessories together, and you get these unique Foundation Series badges. Basically, let's go ahead and just milk the hardcore fans a little bit more, shall we? Still, with all this, the Cybertruck actually became the best-selling electric pickup truck in the US, which, that just has to be considered something of a success, but it's nowhere near the sort of success that the hype train had forecasted. Next year, things will likely improve due to the more affordable rear-wheel drive Cybertruck, reportedly costing about $60,000. I don't know though. Trucks should kind of be four-wheel drive, right? Pretty sure I wouldn't even consider a two-wheel drive truck, electric or gas, but then again, right now I happen to be dealing with a lot of snow and ice and all that. So personally, I'm still reserving judgment. Yeah, look, Elon has stepped into a much more involved and controversial public spotlight lately, and some people love it, some people hate it. Personally, don't really care much one way or another. It's kind of all about the cars for me, more or less. I'll tell you this though, without a lease option initially, I'd written off the Cybertruck entirely. And that sort of brings up a much bigger point. Buying an EV instead of leasing an EV, especially a big dollar one, I kind of think you gotta be a little nuts. Like, I've done all the math, and maybe this will make for a future video, who knows. Anyway, so that's a big time no purchasing a Cybertruck. And I had assumed that any sort of lease option was still years away, but I was wrong and happy about it. And to be honest, at $899 a month for the base version, which I think is the one to get, it's starting to get interesting. The problem here though is that, you can get the Rivian R1T for even less. And if you haven't checked out the Rivian deals lately, go take a look. There's some sweet deals. So now that the wait is over for a Cybertruck and prices have come down sort of back to earth, is it an option? I think that sort of depends on where you stand. Cybertruck turns heads everywhere, and it, like it or not, it's just a rolling statement. And although the jury's still out on quote-unquote Cybertruck dude, it's probably not looking great. It's nowhere near as bad as Lambo guy, but it might be getting close. So gun to my head, and especially after the supercharger network has opened up, I think I'd probably pull the trigger on the Rivian. And this has been something I've been debating heavily, although, look, I still have a few years left on my lease, so no rush personally. But if the Cybertruck is your jam, it's actually obtainable, like right now, at a relatively decent price.